And we start this hour in Kenya, where the security forces have clashed with hundreds of protesters opposed to tax hikes put.
Hi there. So what's happening in Kenya? Because today there have been massive protests in almost every major town and city in Kenya. You know, from Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, almost everywhere. Young people mostly were in the streets. As a matter of fact, it was just young people marching in the streets to protest against a new bill that is supposed to introduce more taxes in Kenya that are going to make life even harder. For example, they want to slap 16% on bread, despite Kenya having the most expensive breads in the region, in Africa. You can go and check on the internet. They also want to add more taxes on things like internet, despite Kenya having one of the fastest internet, but also the most expensive in the region. So young people are mobilizing through TikTok and the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, to come out in large numbers to basically protest this. And you know what they say? They say that a revolution is not an apple that falls when it is ripe. You have to make it fall. So young Kenyans have taken this seriously. They are now making the apple fall because they can't wait for the year 2027 when Kenya is supposed to have the next election. So they have said that they really need to get heard. They're saying we need to be heard. And they're calling the Kenyan president a thief and also Zakayo or Zacchaeus. You know, from the biblical Zacchaeus, the short man who was a tax collector. And it reminds me of Senegal. Remember, Senegal not long ago had election, and young people, actually, this Generation Z, as they are called, Generation Z, these are young people below the age of 25, most of them, actually made a change in that country. They voted for one of their own, or a young president that they can easily relate with, because he could listen to them. So in the case of Kenya, riot police fired tear gas and water cannons to try to disperse thousands of these young demonstrators in Nairobi today on Thursday, as the coordinated marches took place across Kenya against the government's plan to raise more than $3 billion of taxes. And the young people were adamant. They refused to budge, and as I'm making this video right now, they are still in the streets, and the voting for the bill is going on in the Kenyan parliament. And guess what? Most members of parliament have switched sides. They are voting no. They are voting against the bill. Maybe they were motivated by the protest, or maybe they are scared that these young Kenyans will remember them come the next election in 2027 and vote them out. So no one knows, but what I want to say is that, do you think, in the comment section below, do you think that Kenya and Senegal is setting a greater example where young people can come out, participate in active politics, and even change the political landscape and trajectory of these countries?